What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Ready to Love season. They say season 5, episode 2, so we're gonna run with that. It's season 5, episode 2. The episode is titled "Blind Dates," you guys. Now, before we go ahead and jump to this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel and are not subscribed to the channel, I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. Do me that grand favor by liking the video, subscribing to my channel, turning on your post notifications, and sharing the video, guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's discuss Ready to Love, shall we? All right, you guys, so Ready to Love. I will say so far, I like this cast a little better than the last cast, right? But not that much. But I do like them better, right? So we see everyone, so they're going out for the obligatory, Ready to Love brunch, right? That food looked damn good. I was like, oh shit, damn. And that was after I had just ate. When I saw that food, I was like, damn, that food looks so good. So they all get there, right? So at one point, Tiffany, she sat beside Clifton, and I forgot who he was sitting with, but Clifton spoke to her, and she kind of got in her feelings, right? And it started giving me the vibes that she was like how Tasia was last season. You guys remember Tasia after the first brunch. At the first brunch, Tasia was upset that the men had put her in the bottom too. Well, Tiffany is upset about that as well, although we'll talk about her later in the episode. So she gets up, because Wiley spoke to her, and she was like, oh, well, you were sitting with somebody, so I didn't really come about, basically like she didn't want to interrupt or something like that. And he was like, well, you came and sat by me. It would be rude of me not to speak to you. Exactly. Tiffany kind of annoyed me in this episode, just putting it out there right now, right? So then she says that she has her eye on Wiley. So she got up and she went and sat by Wiley, right? So then Dakia came and sat by Wiley and Tiffany. And Tiffany was in her feelings about that. I'm like, girl, this is a whole ass brunch. Like, you got Demetrius, Funky Dineva, sitting right in front of you, but you ain't said nothing about Funky Dineva, but you said something about Dakia, right? So then Dakia goes on to ask Wiley, is your father Chuck Brown? Because he says, do I look like him? Based on that picture that we saw, no, sir. You don't. And then Demetrius like, is that somebody famous? I was like, thank you. I'm like, thank you. So it's not the only, so I'm not the only person that doesn't know who Chuck Brown is, right? I was like, whew. So they explained who Chuck Brown is. Chuck Brown is the inventor of go-go music. I was like, oh, that's why I don't know him. Because go-go music is kind of select to, the DC, the DMV area. Made sense why I didn't know who he was. Cause like, who the fuck is Chuck Brown? So then nephew Tommy comes in. How my beautiful singers doing today? And he tells them, hey, I don't want y'all to get too comfortable because I'm bringing in the curveballs already. So this week I'm adding some quantity to this, right? So I wanted you last week to deal with the quality. This week I want you to deal with both the quality and the quantity. And this week, we're going to be adding one new man and one new woman. And two of you will be going out on a blind date with those two new singles, right? So who am I going to pick to go on these dates? Ace, you can go on the first blind date with the man. And Laverne, because you talk a lot, you can go on a date with the woman. But when you, Laverne, let the woman talk. Okay. And also, gentlemen, at the end of the day, at the end of this week, you guys will be meeting me in the gentleman's lounge, and you will be telling me which woman you want to send home this week. Got it, you guys? Let's move forward. All right, you guys, so we see Ace. So she's kind of nervous when it comes to Clifton, and, okay, yeah, so yeah, at the mix, this is still at the mixer, by the way, because I was looking at my notes like, huh? So at the mixer, you saw Ace and Clifton talking, right? And I got the vibe that she was a little bit nervous. Maybe it was just me, but you guys can let me know, right? So then, because they were talking, And, you know, Sabrina was telling, talking to Ace, telling her, like, hey, yeah, girl, go on that date. And after that date, come back and spill all the tea to us, right? Basically, right? Come back and report to us, right? And Clifton says he's a little bit jealous, right? And he hopes that this is the worst date, I guess, because Clifton at this point hasn't had a date with her. So he hopes that this is her worst date, right? So then we see Dakia and Funky Dineva, right? These people are leading with sexual energy, and it's kind of off-putting, to say the least, right? So Dakia is having a conversation with Funky Dineva, and she is, I mean, when she said, you give off BDE, I was like, wow, really? That's where we're going. BDE. And he didn't even pay you a compliment back. I was just like, ooh, this is a little cringeworthy. So then we move back over to Tiffany and Wiley. She says, she asked him the question that she asked you, how were you feeling about that? Are you good? Did you feel some type of way? He says, nah, I'm good, right? So then we see Wiley. So him and Dakia are talking, right? And they're at the bar. And when you look at Wiley and Dakia, do they kind of give you mother-son vibes? I'm not saying like that. I'm just saying, never mind. Do they give you mother-son vibes? Because actually, I can say why it gives me mother-son vibes. Because he looks so young compared to her. I'm not saying she looks old. I'm just saying compared to, comparative, it looks like it's a big age gap between them, and it just gives you mother-son. But I mean, he had his hand, he was rubbing her hands and all kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, I don't think Tiffany would like that. And Tiffany kind of gives you Camille vibes just a little bit. Just a little bit. But I mean, he was flirting hardcore with her, right? So the mixer was over, so they all started leaving. And I noticed when Dakia and Wiley left, they were hand in hand. I was like, oh, I see you. So then Clifton and Joy, right? They sit down, right? Clifton hadn't had a conversation with Joy this entire mixer, right? So he wanted to have a little bit of time with her. And she was like, well, we got to go. He's like, they can catch us on camera. Like, you sit. I was like, ooh, okay. He's a little assertive. Okay. But he was determined to have his time with her. I was like, I can't blame you. I can't blame you, right? Because you guys know I actually do like I do like Joy for now. Now, it always changes throughout the season who I like and then who I don't like. It always changes. So for now, I like Joy. But we're going to move forward, you guys. All right, you guys. So we see Laverne. So he's on his blind date. And his blind date, her name is Carmen. Damn, I don't have a picture of Carmen. I will say one thing about Carmen. Carmen is very cute, right? But her face, it just gives mean. It just gives the vibe of don't fucking approach me, because if you do, I will cut you. Like, that's just what her face gives. I was about to say who she looked like, but I don't want to say it. Actually, no, I'm going to say it. Go ahead and say it. So there's this, oh God. There's this adult film star. Her name is Cherokee, right? If you guys just Google Cherokee, she's a black woman. If you guys Google Cherokee, Carmen and Cherokee kind of favor each other. Just saying. They favor each other. Look at her. Just, like I say, Google Cherokee and then just remember what, what's her name? Carmen looked like, right? So, like I said, she's cute. She just gives don't fuck with me vibes, really and truly. So we find out that, she works out. That's something. So she and Laverne, they're actually connecting with each other, right? Because they connect on the fact that they like to work out. She works out 5 days a week. He works out 6 days a week. They are both from the Air Force. They both have kids. I think he said he has. Did he say he has 2 kids? He has 2 kids, and I think she has a son. Right? They're both divorced. I was like, oh, are we gonna get into why y'all both divorced? Not that I really care, but when we get into it, I'm not even worried about why she's divorced. I would love to know why he's divorced. Did you cheat? Just questions that I gotta ask. But hey, they connect with each other. You know, at one point she grabbed his ass. I'm like, oh, they were touchy-feely. Touchy-feely is the touchy-feeliness for me. But hey, it is what it is. So next up, we see Ace. So Ace is on a date with Cornelius. Cornelius is a big teddy bear-like guy, right? Very deep voice. When I first saw Cornelius walk up, I was like, what in the entire is going on here, right? Cornelius he's bald and bearded, right? But the thing that really threw me off with Cornelius was his clothing. That shirt he had on, it looked like it was 2 sizes too big. Those pants, those jeans he had on, those jeans looked like he was sagging. And I'm like, this is how you show up to a first date? I mean, those clothes were just ill-fitted. I just really wanted him to find something in his size. I mean, you ain't gotta wear no suit and tie, but can you at least dress up a little bit? The shirt would have been fine, right? The shirt would have been fine if it actually fit and it didn't hang off of you. But those blue jeans, can we do something about these saggy ass blue jeans? Because they're not the look. They're not the look. Like, I couldn't even pay attention to anything that he said because of those clothes he had on, right? But I do know he said to her that, you know, he's very grounded and he's dated a lot, right? But the people that he dated, they were not a match for him. You know, he's all for mental health, and that's a real, again, like I said, I just could not get past. Really and truly, the shirt wasn't a big issue. It was those jeans that they were just that fucking baggy. I'm like, dude, and you're on camera. And he continued to look that way on camera. Now, the next time we saw him, it was casual, so I was okay with that. But in this setting, why? 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 We're gonna move on, you guys. All right, guys, so we see Joyce. She's on a one-on-one date with Paul, right? And then we see Dakia. Dakia is on a one-on-one date with Clifton. So, Paul, he's talking to Joy. He asked Joy, what does settling down look like, right? She says the term settling down, it makes her cringe. I was like, why does it make you cringe? But then she says it would be difficult for her to be in one place only. Now, remember, Joy is a singer, right? Girl, unless you are Beyonce, Rihanna, congratulations to Rihanna on the pregnancy. Unless you Beyonce, Rihanna, Adele, who else? Nicki Minaj. Like, you're saying that it's hard for you to settle down in one place, but I just named some big name artists who are in relationships that still do their music, do music and tour. I mean, Adele is in a whole ass relationship and she's gonna have a residency in Vegas. Like, so you saying that, you know, it's hard for you to settle down in one place. No, it is not. You just don't want to. You might not want to, right? Because with studios, you can record your shit in one place and send it to your engineer, your sound engineer, you know, everyone that's working on your project, unless you're a lounge singer. But she said it's hard for her to settle down in one place. So you're not a lounge singer. You don't, unless you work on a Disney cruise. Unless she works on a Disney cruise, that's the only way I can see it being hard for her to settle down. But how? Inquiring minds would love to know how it's hard for her to be in one place. But hey, and now here we go with more of the sex talk, right? Now, granted, I get it. She got to talk. It's something that's you need to talk about, right? But not in the initial conversations. So Clifton asked Dakia, had been who he was with. Clifton asked Dakia what she thinks about premarital sex. She says, "Wait, please," but then she proceeded to say she does want to test drive the car. Granted, I understand that part, right? You don't want to be in a relationship with someone. Come to find out, the sex is whack, right? I understand that. I get that. But damn, why are we leading with sex? So we move back over to Paul, right? So Paul says settling down for him is a priority. I was like, really? I would have never guessed that settling down was a priority for you. He's talking about he wants a wife. I'm like, I would have never guessed that. I really would not have guessed that P.O., B.O., N.O. I thought that sex was a priority for him, not a wife. But hey, whatever. Moving on. So then next up we have his group date with Sabrina, Paul, Cornelius, Tiffany, and also Precious, right? So Precious says that she's had her eye on Paul. Since when? Girl, did we miss something? Because what Precious should have her eyes on, and I'm not being shady, but I am being shady. Precious should have her eyes on some better makeup. Because your makeup is very oily. It looks like it's running. It looks like sweat is on you. It looks like you applied your makeup with sweat. And then the wig. The wig is too synthetic-y. Just saying. These are jokes, by the way. So she asked Paul, does he think he can be rigid and guarded? He says he's tactful. Okay, whatever. I don't really give a shit, right? So then Tiffany is talking to Cornelius, right? And she asked him, do you want a life partner or do you want a wife, right? He feels that the two are basically interchangeable. No, sir. They're not interchangeable. Actually, you know what? Take that. Scratch that. For people, you know, it depends on the person, right? It literally depends on the person. They could be interchangeable and they couldn't be, right? Some people feel that, you know, the purpose in dating is to get married, right? So someone could be like, you know, do you want to be married or do you want a life partner? So it kind of depends on your definition of what you want, right? But they could be interchangeable, but it just depends on the person, right? If it's two people who are in a relationship, they feel like, hey, I don't need to be married to you. I know I love you. I know I want to spend the rest of my life with you, right? Then they will be cool with life partners. But if it's someone who aspires to be married, be a husband, be a wife, be a mother, and be a father, then that'll work. That wouldn't work for them, right? So he's right. But for Tiffany, that ain't what she wants. Tiffany knows she wants a husband. So then we move over. So Paul, now, I get it, right? When you're getting to know people, you want to ask them questions, right? But these questions that Paul were asking, I was like, what the hell does this have to do with the price of tea in China, right? So Paul asked Tiffany, is she into spoken word? She straight out said, no. Like, she said no, and then he asked her, okay, well, if you were doing spoken word, what would you call it? I would call it nothing, because she just said she's not into spoken word. And I was just like, what the fuck is he talking about? And then he asked her the question of, when she goes to the grocery store, right, and she checks out, does she speak to her cashier? I would hope so. That's common courtesy. When you go up to a checkout line and you speak to the person, you say, how are you doing today? And that's it. And, you know, they proceed to check you out. If you guys hold a conversation from there, that's even more so being courteous. But that question, and he got in his feelings because she didn't answer it the way he wanted her to. I'm like, Paul, those were terrible questions, dude. So what did you expect for her to say? Oh no, I say, when I go up to the cashier, I say, fuck you, bitch. Like, what did you expect for her to say? Go to hell. Don't touch my shit. Yes. You speak. Now there are, I have worked in I have worked at when I worked at Goodwill, there were times that people would walk up, you would say, how are you doing today? They just look at you. Well, you rude ass hoe. I ain't really gotta check you out, you know that, right? But hey, I'm only getting paid for this. All right, you guys, so we're gonna move over. So we see Clifton, so he's out on a date with Tori, Joy, and Ace, right? And also Carmen joins them. Carmen. So she wears contacts. I didn't notice it. Clifton, however, notices it, right? She has an issue with Tori's locks. I'm like, I'd rather have Tori's locks than your contacts. The contacts are from the 2000s. At least his hairstyle is current and will always be current. So what we talking about here, girl? Calm down. So we find out a little bit more about Mr. Clifton. So Clifton, he got divorced 2 years ago. So he hasn't really been dating, right? And here's the point of my notes where I was like, oh my God, they all keep talking about sex. It was just sex, 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 sex. Like sex. 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 So, Ace, which I thought was kind of weird, but I mean, I guess I get it now when you really sit and think about it, right? Because Clifton and, oh girl, what's her name? Carmen. Clifton and Carmen were talking, and so was Tori and, who else on this damn date? Tori and Joy, right? They were talking, so Ace, she noticed that she stepped away and she got on her phone, right? Clifton noticed that she stepped away and he went to go check on her. And I'm like, you know what? I like Clifton. Clifton is a stand-up guy. I fucks with Clifton. That's pretty much it, you guys. Here's something. So I'm gonna pause here, you guys, and we're gonna move forward. All right, you guys. So before we actually go ahead and talk about the men meeting up with Tommy and who was eliminated, right? I just have an issue with this whole situation of how we're dating people, right? This is speed dating on crack. This is literally speed dating on crack, right? Because last week we eliminated 2 people. We eliminated Keena. I ain't flipping y'all off. I just realized that. Keena and that other guy whose name I forgot already. What was the purpose in us eliminating them 2 if you bring in 2 new people this week and then you eliminate 1 person this week, but we're going to bring in 2 new people next week? What the is the purpose? And I still don't understand why on the first day they have to eliminate 2 people or even 1 person. It just doesn't make any sense, right? Because that's literally, when I said speed dating on crack, that really is speed dating on crack. That they have a jam-packed first day. Because like I said, if you guys remember in last week's review, I was talking about the fact that they did the photo shoot for this season all on the first day. Like, I would have been tired and pissed off by the end of the night. I just feel like maybe they should get to know each other at least a week or 2, see if they can build connections, and if they can't build a connection with someone, then send someone home. But you want people to meet in a matter of maybe 3 hours. Let's just be nice and say 3 hours, right? You can't really say you know something about a person in 3 hours. You can't really say you know something about a person in a week, but you can try to get to know a little bit about the person. But even in a full day, you're not gonna know that much to make a decision. But hey, it is what it is. So then we get to the gentleman's lounge, right? So Tommy, he's talking to Laverne and talking to Cornelius about their dates that they had. They talked about them. Don't really care, right? So Yeah, these people just do not give me the vibe that they're looking for love. They really give me the vibe that they're looking for some birthday sex, some any kind of sex will do, right? Now, Paul, he was talking about the, because they were talking about who they don't like and who they do like. But Paul was talking about the questions that he asked Tiffany. But those questions that you asked Tiffany were bullshit questions. Let's just be real. You didn't ask her anything of substance. Granted, I get it. When you get to know someone, you ask them some questions, but his questioning, not the best. Ouch. All right, you guys. So next up, we get to the elimination date, right? So the elimination date is with Wiley and Ace and Paul and Tiffany, right? Now, Paul, I just told you that the questions that you asked her before were kind of stupid questions, right? But this question right here, I didn't see a big issue with it, but Tiffany saw an issue with it, right? I think he said, like, tell me something that people might not know about you or something like that, right? Wasn't that big of a deal. And she was like, oh my God, Paul, more questions. I was like, huh? And it was in that moment, I'm like, oh, she's salty about something and I don't know what it is, right? And then we move over to the date with Ace and Wiley, right? Am I the only one that was confused about the fact that Wiley literally stood up and he got like yay close to Ace? Like he was super close to Ace and I'm like, dude, you gotta be. So this is why I'm Wiley, right? You guys are Ace. This was Ace talking to Wiley. And I was just like, bruh, back up. You don't have to be that close to me. It ain't that deep. I don't know you like that. Get out of my face. But this was him. But he tells her that the men feel that she is still ready to love. And I was still thinking to myself, Wiley, back your ass up off of me. Please and thank you. It would be nice. I would appreciate it. But that was him, right? So then Paul breaks it to Tiffany that she's going home. Child, she did the fool. She did the fool. Talking about she wasn't upset. I'm like, shit, Allah, I don't care who tell it because, baby girl, you are pressed like a panini. Talking about they are jealous of her. I just want to know that. Who is jealous of you? Why are they jealous of you? I'm oh God, this is going to come out shady. Her hair. Did you guys notice with her hair that she got her weave, right? It's pretty. But then you go up here. You go right up here, right? You go right up here. You can see her leave out. And it's her, it does not blend at all. Didn't blend. That's why I thought she was sweating last week. I was like, oh, she's not sweating. That's her hair. Oh, sorry. So yeah. So Tiffany is gone. And that's it, you guys. Next week, we're bringing in 2 more singles. I'm not understanding this process, right? What was the purpose in bringing in 7 people, eliminating 2 last week, and then bringing in 2 more this week, eliminating 1, and bringing in 2 more next week? And then you're going to send 2 more people on blind dates. What are we doing? What are we doing? I just don't. I don't get it. But hey, maybe it ain't for me to get. Maybe it ain't for me to understand. Maybe not. But hey, that's it, you guys. Please get down in them comment sections and let me know what you guys thought about the episode overall. Let me know what you guys thought about our 2 new singles. I was just about to say Courtney. Her name is Carmen. Let me know what you guys think about Carmen and Cornelius, right? I will say I like this Cornelius a lot better than the Cornelius we got last season. He's still trying to live off that 15 minutes of fame. Him and Camille. Hang it up. Flat screen. Please and thank you. But that's it, you guys. Like the video, leave your comments in the comment section below, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, share the video, and until the next one, stay safe out there, you guys. Take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands. Please wear a mask, you guys. Socially distanced. Be blessed. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.